Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Save Us You Presents Mulut Murai, a show about what's happened, what's happening, and what will happen in the Malaysian creative arts industry. Like every episode, I'm just going to get the business shit out of the way. If you want to support us, please follow us on safehouse.kl, and for the podcast updates, it's stu.pod. If you want to see us more and you like to support us a little bit more directly and financially, there are donation links in the bio. Obviously, every little cent counts. And during this MCO 3.0, whatever the MCOs are going to be, Safe House has been empty and we haven't been doing what we usually do, which are events. We're trying to give out like all these like workshops and stuff like how we usually did before during the first more intense MCO lockdown. But during the meantime, I'll just have the podcast as usual weekly. And if I can get anyone that's not scared or annoyed to go out, like Othniel here.
I don't think I have a choice though. I just work across the street.
Yeah, then I'll have them on. But most of the time, every update, my guests just get back to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to get someone," and it's understandable. And I'm not gonna force them to do it. So, as long as I can get the guests, you'll keep getting these episodes. And I appreciate all the donors that's been donating thus far. Do get recurring donations every once in a while, so really appreciative of that. So let me introduce my guest for today. He also invited me to go on a show with him and on the BFM radio station recently. So he's a radio host first and foremost, and I think we just shared a common love, interest in, I guess,
microphones,
equipment and shit and talking and stuff like that.
I mean, it's hard to find other podcasters in Malaysia. I feel.
Right.
Besides Renegade Radio, which you had on your show before. Yeah. So to find out that you do podcasts and we to find out that we do podcasts and to just chat about gear is pretty exciting to me.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes like for guitarists, it's more fun to buy guitar pedals and look at guitar pedals than actually playing the guitar itself.
Yeah.
I feel the same way for microphones.
Same. Because I was talking to Othniel also about this like little contraption equipment thing that I have with me here. I've been trying to buy the PodTrack P8, and I think you guys know, if you guys listen way before the videos came out and on Spotify, I've been trying to get this fucking PodTrack P8 since November, and due to shipping issues. So now I end up with the PodTrack P4, and I bought this. Oh no, Alicia gave me this MV7 as a mic. Oh. Now we had the radio interview. Is it an interview?
Yeah.
Radio interview on BFM. And he was like, "Oh, you used the MV7, huh?" And then shortly after, he was like,
"You know why? Because because we use the Rode Broadcaster microphone in the office, which is one of the best microphones that I've ever used before. So when I'm working from home, most of the time, our guests would have better microphones than the presenters.
That's the thing that you can't you bring it home if you like. If this is the second live interview that you've had since since COVID.
Yep, the first live interview that I had was with Orang Malaya. Shout out to Orang Malaya.
Shout out Orang Malaya, is also part of Safe House. So if this is the second one since a year plus ago, why don't they just let you use the mic?
Well, so for now, for BFM, we are doing So I'll have to work in the office for 1 week and then I'll work from home for 1 week. So when I'm working from home, if I take the microphone, those that are in the office can't use those microphones.
Oh, you share that.
Yeah, so we share the microphones. Right. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I actually bought this microphone because after our interview, and I saw like, wow, the MV7 sounds good. So I did more research on it and here I am.
Happy?
MV7 bros.
Happy? Are you happy?
I'm really happy with it, man.
Yeah. I mean, sure, dude. Like even with Kelvin, we were geeking out about equipment and he was like, let's talk about Music Bliss because I'm trying to get sponsored by them.
Oh, same man, same.
Yeah, I mean,
Music Bliss is doing great stuff, by the way. No ulterior motives.
So, if you guys know anyone from there, send them a shout out for us because I've been to their store also and it's like it's like 3-4 stories or something like that at PGN, and it's like all of the shit that I just like would love to have.
Because it's not as simple as just one microphone, plug and play into your computer, right? There's audio interface, cloud lifters, maybe like mixers and whatnot. Headphones, even windscreen and
XLR
like
cables,
boom arms and all that. So it's fun.
This thing is $100. This microphone stand. So there's a lot that goes into just obviously it is like a point of privilege to be able to just like, okay, let's just have all these like really nice equipment for us to end up doing the same thing that you can still accomplish.
Well, but at the end of the day, we just want to sound the best for our listeners.
So how have you been performing, I guess, like to with the mic that you have at home? Do you think that it's like affected really the product at hand, what you make?
Well, to be honest, I feel like I've survived recording from home using shitty equipment. Like I use this Zoom Q. What was it? It's a second generation video recorder. It's not even meant for audio. It's meant for video recording. But I just turn off the video function and I just record in my closet. And nobody has ever like.
You're talking about Zoom, the software?
No, I'm talking about the
Zoom,
hardware Zoom.
The company?
So I use like it's like probably like 15 years old kind of Zoom recorder. That's meant for. It's more of a video camera before mobile phones have camera. So I just use that to record in my closet most of the time for the whole of last year actually. So but when I realized that the pandemic
but it was also a mic. There was also your mic.
Well, it's not really it was more for video. It's more like a video mic. So I've been using that the whole ton of editing and compression and EQ and all that, and it works. But the pandemic is I thought it would have ended by this year, but then it seems like it won't be ending anytime soon, so it's time to invest.
I mean, for me, I just like podcasting enough. I don't know who I told this to, but it just gives me a reason to socialize without really actually hanging out. So I was like, okay, might as well I just treat this properly, and we've been getting donations through the podcast, and people have been like showing support for that. So I was like, why the fuck not? Also, we try to expand and have more shows under the Safe House TU network. Obviously, it hasn't been going.
Have you had any submissions?
I mean, I've been talking to this guy. I'm not sure if I want to talk about fully yet, but there's been someone in the fashion world who's interested in doing it. A veteran, I guess, like in the fashion world, who we'd be down to just like provide the little marketing that we have, but just also he wants the audio aspect of it which we're just happy to just provide. A lot of people can't afford equipment and stuff like that. This is not utilized more than once or twice a week. So might as well just like go out of my way to, if anyone is interested to doing something like podcasting, which I think, honestly, I enjoy long form content, and I think a lot of people will start getting into long form content as well.
There's something intimidating, right, about having a microphone in front of your face but it's actually just like talking with
I think the video part definitely, at first I was just like, fuck, the video part is definitely intimidating. For me, because I've always been in front of microphones, it's not so much. But I'm not so sure about other people.
Well, you'd be surprised, man. I've had people cry in the studio before because they can't describe what their restaurant sells and all that, man.
Because they're not used to.
They're just not. I mean, Malaysians are. I'm just comparing with Indonesians or Singaporean guests. I mean, they are just very intimidated by the microphone. And maybe we're just not confident enough when it comes to speaking in front of a mic, or I know I'm not too sure, but it's definitely something that I realized among Malaysians.
Anything to do with language?
Well, maybe not really actually. Because
they're
most
like
Malaysians
English
even as the first or second language, but I think it's more the intimidation of going on air. A few 100,000 people listening to you.
True. I guess it's a bit different because when people look at our audience base, it's not reaching the same as like BFM, So if I were to go live, are they live?
So for clarification, most of my shows are actually pre-recorded, but you know how radio works, right? Most of it is meant to make you feel like it's a live show, but live shows is a different ballgame altogether. But it's fun to do as well. Are there live
shows?
Yeah. So there are some live shows. I used to do a live show on Wednesdays at 10 p.m. It's called The Pulse. The only fun part to do on live shows is it is now 10:24 p.m. Like specific things that you can't say during a pre-recorded show. So that's pretty fun to do. But besides that, it's just nerve-wracking. But it's fun at the same time because you get like the same adrenaline rush that you get maybe when you play in a live band on stage.
But that's just by yourself. right?
Oh no.
Do you do with the guests?
Oh, live shows. I don't think I can ever do a live show by myself
yourself.
because also okay. So normally for a live show, at least for BFM, we normally have a what we call a paneler. So the paneler will panel and control all the buttons like what you're doing right now. So normally the paneler will control the volume, the whatever hotkey buttons to like trigger music or whatever. Yeah. So normally there's at least like 3 people.
Right.
Still, yeah.
I mean, like talking, will there be another guest talking?
So it depends on the show. So sometimes it's just me and another co-host, or sometimes there'll be a guest in the studio as well.
Right.
Every time there's a guest, it's always better because it feels
easier to talk.
Yeah, it's easier to talk.
Yeah. Dude, I tried doing solo talks also.
It's tough, right?
I don't know if you listen to the stuff that I did solo on the podcast. And I reached like an hour once. I don't know which episode that was. And that was just like me milking my brain.
Because it feels like you're just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Even
it's
though
a
you
good
know
skill.
it's for podcast.
But you know why I got interested in podcasting in the first place? Because, you know Bill Burr? He's a comedian. This is one of the first podcasts that I listened to. He's one of the pioneers of podcasting format in general. He started in 2007. And he has the same show since 2000 whatever. Of him just talking by himself for an hour straight.
That's a skill, man.
Every Tuesday and Thursday, or Monday and Thursday, whatever. Yeah, Monday and Thursday. And it's just like, I was like, this is such a captivating thing that I'm listening to this guy just talk about complete nonsense, basically, and just his thoughts and stuff for an hour, 2 days a week.
I'll be curious to know whether he has a script or not. Whether,
No,
whether
he doesn't. No. He does have scripts for ads and stuff, and he does a horrible job reading, you know? So he just goes off the top of his head.
That's a real skill, you know?
Yeah,
like,
and that's why I was interested in like, wow, this is such a public speaking skill that I would like to, you know, be like better at. But I guess it's not really public if it's on camera lah. That's why I'm saying if it's on radio and you're live, that would be really like...
Yeah, it's fun though, you know, with all that being said.
Yeah, like the adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean, if your guest suddenly like says a shit, like accidentally lets out like or swear word, like I mean, it's not fun like, you know, you got sweat like, oh shit, my boss is gonna send me a text and all that, but it's all part of the game, I guess.
What would be like the hardest thing for you to be on top of, like once you
I know for you it's scheduling.
Right, yeah.
Well, for me, are you talking about like radio in general or?
I mean radio in general. Also, just your experience as a host.
For me, toughest. Okay, because I host a music show, a few music shows actually. I find scheduling it for me is easy. Because okay, I feel when I first...
Because everyone wants to be on BFM?
Okay, I wouldn't say it that way. When I first started out, I had to reach out to a lot of people, but I think I'm pretty lucky right now to be able to say that most people write into BFM. So so that part of the scheduling is like 50% done for me. So
even the music... The music
submissions.
Content. No, it's just you talk to artists, right?
Yeah. So most of the time they
Orang
approach
Malaya
me.
reach out to you?
Via his distributor, Tong Tong Asia. Shout out to
shit.
Tong Tong Asia.
Really?
Yeah.
So most of them just be like, hey, we would like an interview and stuff like that?
Yeah, but it took me pretty long to get to where I am. Maybe like about 4 or 5 years for people to start to like, you know, like email me on the regular or like...
Okay.
On well, it's mostly distributors and labels would send music to me, new releases maybe like weekly or monthly.
So you've built that kind of like reputation for yourself, aside from BFM, to also have people want you to be talking.
But I think it's important also to have a balance. So I try not to air only things that people submit to me, because at the same time I also want to be on the lookout for like the next big thing on SoundCloud or in Malaysia or whatnot. But back to your question, I feel that the toughest thing for me, at least in the music radio sphere, is actually rejecting music. That's for me. It's like
people submit
music.
Hey, can you play this?
Yeah, because you know, right, we're all Malaysians and we're all like very mesra and all that, right? But I feel
you have to lah.
Yeah, but okay. So here's the thing, right? Music for Malaysians is a very personal thing. It's something where because most of us are not full timers, right? Yeah. So most of us, I don't know. I mean, I'm probably not speaking on behalf of every musician, but I think most musicians would want to have that dream of like being able to support yourself by being a full-time musician eventually. So like they can quit their shitty job or whatever. So I mean, so they take it very personally, I feel. So so it's tough, and
how would you do it?
So the problem is I can't bring myself to actually. I mean, okay. So I asked this question before to Fikri weekend sessions. I think this is a question that I had in my head, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have approached him to request for music, but not every music gets to be played. Right. So he told me once that after rejecting someone's music, he always tries to match it up with what can be done better. So it's a bit more constructive. It doesn't feel like you're just like, you know, saying like shitting on their music or what. Yeah.
So wait, hold on. He was a host also
for weekend sessions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, people submitted for weekend sessions as well.
Right. I think he got that pretty regularly as well, because everybody wanted to play on the weekend sessions.
Really? Yeah. No one asked to be on this podcast.
Well,
I would like people to be like, "Hey, have me on. I want to go on."
But I wanted to be on your podcast.
Oh, yeah, true. But like very rarely do I be like, I don't know. It's
soon, bro. Soon.
It's also because I guess like it's just intimidating, because I just say it's unedited.
Maybe you shouldn't tell people that you have a camera.
No,
but if they watch the podcast, they will.
Yeah, no, but I do. But I think when I show them now, obviously when I adjust them, I show them like clips or the link. I give them the link and stuff. But they realize that it's unedited, and that's what throws people off the most.
I remember when you told me like to like come on your show, I was also a bit scared because of that whole unedited aspect. Because for my shows.
I want to get to that also.
Yeah, because like maybe the raw files will be like if it's a super long interview, maybe 40 minutes, but we will only air maybe 15 minutes, because we edit it
of
down.
Actual talking.
Yeah, because we edit down a lot so that like for the flow and all that. But that's why I'm very jealous of like what you guys do, because you can just talk and you don't have to edit at all.
Yeah, I mean you also leave space. That was the weird part for me when I was doing your show, is that you leave space for advertising.
Yeah, mainstream radio. That's how it goes.
The songs. I mean, I picked a couple songs. Well, I was really excited about the songs for sure. But we had like these breaks, and I was just like, wow, okay, that kind of like alleviates, alleviates the pressure, but also it kind of cuts out the momentum a little bit of our conversation. But either way, I would like fucking sponsors. So this show.
I mean, on YouTube, I find those like sponsors like or Rich Wallet or like, you know, Squarespace. Yeah. But as a show, it feels more legit when you do it. So I don't mind it as well.
I mean, you also understand because they're creators, right? Like you understand that you don't pay for podcasts, and that's the only way that you can actually get money is through sponsors. Yeah. And I don't think in Malaysia we really have reached to the point where people want to sponsor like these brands or companies that want to sponsor these shows just yet. But once it becomes more legit and you have the numbers to back it up, like I'm fucking on it, you know. But I guess like what a lot of creators do nowadays is they just do the show, but then they record the advertising afterwards or before, and then they just slot it in, you know. But so it doesn't really cut the actual conversation.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of tricks that you can do. Yeah. But most of the time, I mean, speaking of breaks, sometimes we will just record it like 20 minutes straight, but the breaks are artificially inserted as well. Yeah. So it's more of a editing from a producer standpoint kind of thing. Yeah.
So I was also, I mean, there are a lot of things that I just would like to know about radio stations, but like what you told me before was that they're not, BFM in particular is not as like large of a corporation and stuff like that as like I assumed, you know.
It's definitely no Astro.
Yeah, so like I was like surprised. Oh shit, you do this whole show by yourself at home, live and stuff. So it's just like, I don't know. Maybe you could give like a glimpse a little bit of like how the work structure is for BFM. And I mean, you one of the main things is that you are divided by the type of content. One is like the business information kind of section, and the other was the music part. How does that split happen, and like is there like a certain pressure for one or the other?
Okay, I guess for other shows, maybe for the music shows is run a bit differently, but for other shows, or maybe even podcasts in general, like if you listen to TED Radio Hour, like that podcast for all the TED Talks and all that, they have, if you check out who worked on that podcast, there are like 10 people, there are like maybe like 8 producers, 1 presenter, and like 1 social media person, that kind of luxury, you know. But Maybe at BFM, maybe for the business shows, it's more for the live shows. Maybe it's like maybe a team of 4 to 5 people working on that one show. So you have a producer. So we'll all be in a shared document that upload in real time for the live shows. But for the music shows, it's a bit differently because, well, actually that's a good question. I don't even know why we're so short on manpower for the music shows. But
does it also have to like maybe because radios are less prominent nowadays as a business also?
Well, actually, I think it's just BFM specific because for the like let's say Fly FM or Hits, like they have a lot of people working on one program.
Right.
But for BFM, maybe because it's such a specific thing, like maybe it's just Asian music. So it's always been a one-man show kind of thing. Yeah. But to be fair, it used to be a bit more straightforward. So our interviews used to be just literally an interview, and maybe we'll play the band's music at the end of the show. But then as the show evolved, we kind of got a bit hungry and like we wanted to do more. So we added more elements to it, and it slowly got like more and more hectic. But with all that being said, it's still very rewarding to do the shows lah. Even though it's a one-man show kind of thing. Yeah, so I would maybe I can just tell you the timeline. So like maybe for your interview, so we did the raw interview. After the interview is done, that's just the start of the work because we would need to edit down the interview and then buy the songs and then censor the songs, put it all together, and then only upload it into our system that goes live on air.
You bought the songs from the MACP?
iTunes. MACP doesn't sell songs, bro.
Then, those songs are on iTunes?
If it's not on iTunes, then I'll get it from the artists themselves. Or I will ask the artist for permission whether I can rip their songs off of SoundCloud or YouTube. Which normally it's like I usually get a green light lah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's okay. See, all this like processes and stuff. It's just like it doesn't seem to me that so far fetched. You know, like I thought there would like be larger structures in play and stuff. Bro. The broadcasting world being broadcasting into hundreds, thousands of people. That
I wish, man. But at the same time, right, having a very lean team. I mean, literally one person. There are benefits as well, lah. I mean, like you can work in your own timing and But at times, I wish I had more people helping me out,
So your show, Wavelength, it's a music centered show on BFM. You get to pick the kind of music, all of the music that you play, and it's a weekly show.
Yes.
Is there been like a specific kind of like angle of Wavelength for the type of music that you play, or is it just whatever you like?
Okay.
Do people care in radio stations? Is there a certain kind of type of songs that limits?
I think it depends on the station as well.
Right.
Like if we play like music, maybe like a bit more popish, or let's just give the easiest example, Justin Bieber. If we play Justin Bieber, then we definitely get a lot of tweets because one of our tagline is Bieber free music.
Right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But in terms of my own show, because it's an Asian music show,
right.
So as long as I play Asian music and it's pretty much positive actually because we don't really have a lot of Asian music shows. I mean now Hits have went out to say that they want to promote local music a bit more, which is good.
Because they got backlash.
Yeah, shout out to Sasi the Don. But I think in terms of Asian music, I think as long as there is, people will be happy. I mean, there should be more, definitely.
Okay, so no one gives you shit for it, But do people kind of like give you props for it though? That they were like, that was a really nice playlist last night.
So my biggest moment was when I was just browsing Reddit and then someone mentioned my show on Reddit and he was like, holy shit, that's just the songs.
For what? What subreddit is that?
For r/Malaysia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that was my biggest moment lah. Or actually, or when people tell me that they can't Shazam the songs that I played.
Is that's a good feeling or what?
It's a bit poyo, but it's a good feeling. Like, shit.
Dude, fucking. But do you think that you've become like a sort of like purveyor of like Asian underground hits and stuff like that?
I wouldn't say a purveyor, but how I approach it is I just want to give a platform for musicians that wouldn't necessarily get radio airplay. So like maybe in the early days of the show, I love to just go on SoundCloud and like discover musicians that literally perform in the bedroom with earpods. I mean, I'm proud to say that I played Airlifts when he, some rough demo version where he was just literally recording with his earpods. Because I feel like if I think it's important to give a space to those kind of artists to, I mean, it's a chicken and egg situation as well. Sometimes for more mainstream radios, they will say like, oh, let's wait until they sound a bit better. But sometimes you need to give them a push.
Yeah.
And then that will push them to sound better, you know?
There's a lot that I want to follow up on this actually. Because obviously, if you do that, do you tell the artist like, hey, I'm playing your song?
Oh, yeah.
Every single artist?
Not every single artist because, I mean...
It's just difficult, right?
That's just difficult. But if the artist actually send me their songs via email or via WhatsApp, whatever, then I would tell them that, okay, your song is playing at this time. But because of the ads, so I can't tell them for sure, like 12:43 p.m. like that kind of thing.
So there's also that, and it's just like, do people kind of see you as a guy, like as like a tastemaker? Because with the history of radio stations and DJs especially, back then people used to see the DJ as like the tastemaker of the local sounds and like the platform to be at. If you have a hit, you give it to the radio DJ and stuff like that. Do you think that you've reached that level? Or is it a little bit different nowadays because radios aren't as like prevalent?
I think the issue that we have right now, because we have a lot of music out there, right? Like just at the tip of your fingertips. But that causes an issue of variety, of having too much variety, I feel. Because listeners don't know what they want. Like, even for me personally, I find myself, like, if I'm in the car, I'll, like, at the traffic light, I'll just be, like, searching, what do I want to listen to? Like, I can't figure out what I want to listen to, then I'll just turn on the radio.
Right.
That kind of thing. So I think curators are the next big thing because, someone needs to curate all the content out there.
Yeah.
But
and that's the kind of like the follow up question that I want to bring it up. Like don't, I mean, because I follow you on Instagram recently. In the scene itself, like, do you kind of like see yourself as a kind of tastemaker? Because I don't see that you're that involved also, right?
I hope people don't think
you kind of like
look at me as a tastemaker.
Yeah, but that's why not though. Like, because you're in that position. You know, like for me, I have people sending me music all the time. And people just send me music all the time. They're like, what do you think of this? And sometimes I don't really give a fuck, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, you need criticism for art to kind of grow.
But that brings me back to the same thing where I don't believe Malaysians can take criticisms that well.
You know, I think okay, sure. Maybe we don't understand it at first, but there needs to be some sort of system for them to be able to understand. And
I mean, you'll be surprised, man. Like how many people get offended when they submit music, and it's just not up to par. But at the end of the day, like I hope they understand. So we try to get them to understand that this doesn't mean we are not saying that your music sucks. It's just that your music is not suitable for the station, for the sound of the station.
Right.
But man, like we've got all sorts of replies.
Once you become tastemaker, then it doesn't suit your taste, right?
Yeah. So.
Because I don't know, man. Like,
this is a bit of a tough question. I remember you asked me before whether what was that question? I remember it was whether I see myself as a term for it, as a
gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper. And then I thought about it as a man. I don't like that word gatekeeper at all, man. Yeah. Because I feel to a certain extent we should be gatekeepers of the sound of the station or the sound of your music show. Let's say you have a music podcast. You should be the gatekeeper of the sounds that you want to play because then it's a total different thing where like it see like which target, what is your target market and all that.
Yeah. But that's different though.
But I think people get mistaken and they don't see that. I don't know, man. Some people they prefer to be on every single platform. Like more is more kind of thing. But I feel if it's more targeted, it's a bit better.
There is a negative connotation to gatekeeping. People, or it's like, you know, you're like controlling what's supposed to be out there and whatnot. But there's also people make the resemblance, the comparison with gatekeeper and the tastemaker, basically. So someone who's like rejecting things for what it is and not really because of the art itself.
Okay, tastemaker sounds more positive. Gatekeeper sounds more negative. Gatekeeper sounds like you're preventing people from entering, but tastemaker feels like you're introducing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think I prefer that term.
And that's why I brought it up in the first place. Like the tastemaker is like I mean, if you have a platform, you have a show, and people kind of respect you for the curation and for what you pick.
Yeah.
You kind of have that reputation and that ability to direct people's attention to certain things.
But you know, at the same time, right, I've always struggled with, because I haven't really like put out my own music. I'm not a musician myself. So I mean, personally, I struggled with it because like it was a bit of a, what you call that? What's that? That's the scientific term for this.
What?
Imposter syndrome.
No,
I felt
dude,
a bit of an imposter syndrome.
cannot.
No, okay, let me explain. Because I'm not in bands. I wasn't playing in bands. So I feel like I can't reject them like
on a technical
level. I want to give musicians opportunity to talk shit about my music, you know?
Yeah.
So that we're on equal level. And then, but after much thinking, I realized like, you know what? Like, yeah, like my job here is to like introduce people to music like, as a curating music. To a certain extent, tastemaker kind of music thing. So after that, but it took me quite a while to accept that fact, you know. So I actually wanted to like lay low, you know, maybe like come out with my own music or like make a band and then like let people shit on me, then only like, you know, be more open. But that's all in the head, actually.
Yeah, I think that you really need to have different roles for different people, you know, like musicians make music, that's your artists create art, you know, and then there are people that talk about it in an informed kind of way. I mean, you don't even have to be like theoretically knowledgeable about chords and shit like that, but as long as you can sway the minds or influence the way that people receive and interpret the art, then you're already doing something, you know, like you have a role within the industry.
In the whole ecosystem.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
If people keep sending you shit for your show, that means your show means something, you know, and you have a voice there.
Yeah, but that's where the difficulty comes as well, because you know, I'm trying to keep the sound of the show.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, I don't think that's gatekeeping. Like, you obviously have boundaries for what you can.
But in this, I mean, what's a better word? I mean, I'm like safeguarding. Safeguarding also sounds a bit negative, right?
What exactly is is it BFM?
No, I'm just talking about maybe the music show specifically.
The integrity or like the character of the show lah.
And the sound maybe of the show. So like maybe if someone sends in a song that's takngam for the show, but then like it just gets a bit complicated mostly. Yeah.
That's the taste.
Right.
Just say it's not. Just say hey.
But you can't say that though.
I can say that definitely. If you want to like give me like some synth pop 4-piece band with. And then you tell me, hey, you know, what do you think about this? And I tell you, you're like some disco cover band. It's like, what's wrong with that?
I think maybe because BFM is maybe a bit more established, so maybe people feel it's like a bit easier to hentam a bit.
Yeah, maybe also.
I mean, we've got replies like so usually we would send like, I'm sorry, we this song is not so suitable for our station because and we do that because a lot of people have asked us why. But recently we had one we had to reject, and then she went all like, did I ask your opinion?
So what did they want?
I know, they just wanted
they
to
want
be interviewed
placement,
placement lah. But then
that's
when start
the thing. It's like, come on, it's not just marketing, right? If we were to do that, we have to market every single thing. There's no quality in what we do.
But that's just one aspect of what makes, you know, radio fun to me.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what you're going to get in the mail.
Because I don't think that we like. I brought this up in previous episodes. Is that I think we have had such a saturation of quantity of music because of the democratization that everybody can just make it easily at home. That so many artists and so much content, but not really people who control the content and like say what's good and what's not, filter it out. So there aren't a lot of quality control. But
I think in Malaysia maybe it's changing a bit
slowly.
I mean, like there's like Awful Track Record. And a few. Oh, I don't remember the names, but I've saw a few on YouTube where it's literally just a lapel mic and he's like giving the lapel mic to the artist and all. So it's definitely very encouraging to see those on YouTube.
I mean, I talked to Zim from Offer Track Record. We're gonna do a show together, a docu-series on. I guess I'm spoiling it a little bit, but if you want to, we can talk about it later if you want to be involved.
Off camera.
But so what the thing is that he gave Orang Malaya's Karya Cinta Suprema like an average rating, like you gave it 3 out of 5, and he said that it's not supposed to be called Karya Cinta Suprema. And this is the thing, the way that he closed it off was like, oh, burn. And then Arif posted it on his Instagram, and comes all his fans like, oh, what the fuck, you don't know what you're talking about, and stuff like that. And a week after that, I was just like, fuck this, I don't like this kind of attitude, because it's unhelpful. He's just giving out his opinion. So I asked him to come and then work alongside Arif also for this content that we're going to end up doing.
I think people forget that it's only an opinion. It's not the end of the world.
I mean, you
it's
can
just
still
an
be
opinion
friends,
of one person, you know?
And for Hoax also, I mean, for the people, Arif and Naufal and whoever the artists around me, I've always had the kind of behavior that, like, you gotta be able to accept it when I don't like your shit.
Yeah,
and other people don't like
that's
your
the thing,
shit.
right? Like which I brought up earlier. Like, it's tough to maybe like
swallow.
And it's also tough to say negative things about like your friend's band, which is actually
but it's
so
not
healthy. Actually,
but it's not negative though. It's never really just like, I mean, as long as you're informed, the way that you say shit is not just like straight up hating. Because that's what people get mixed up with. Like, if you just say, "Oh, it's shit,"
but design is just a matter of taste, probably.
Yeah, I mean, how informed you are about certain things. Like, dude, I don't know about this, I don't know, riff or whatever. I've heard it before. Like, why are you doing the same thing? Or, not really pushing boundaries with the lyrics or stuff like that. Like, as long as when you say stuff or comment about the art, you actually are saying something. Instead of blatantly saying, oh, that's not cool, or stuff that makes no judgment.
At least you have something to back it up.
Yeah. And people need to be able to say, and that's why I think informed, critics and commentators, curators, facilitators of art is really important.
Yeah.
Which I kind of I'm kind of pushing you in that direction now, That I just don't know if you feel the same way.
Well, I prefer to be under the radar a bit. Maybe because
for sure.
Maybe it's because also I'm afraid that dude. I mean, like I get lots of WhatsApps as well and all that. Like and it's maybe it's a bit easier to reject on email, but on WhatsApp it's even tougher.
Yeah.
Or like when people slide into my DMs and all that. So maybe that's why I try to like a bit more like not so open. But I've been thinking differently lately. Like even I don't know whether you realize, but if you're a regular listener of Wavelength, you realize that maybe like I have started to be more open towards a wider variety of guests. Like maybe last time a bit more poppier sounding, like I'll try to avoid because I want to like, no lah, like Wavelength underground though, but that kind of sound. But then I think it's quite important to...
but hyperpop is underground now.
Yeah, but then, or just like poppier like sounds in general. I think it's there are good conversations that you can have with that as well. So I'm slowly changing my mindset a bit.
I mean, it's part of you, like sharpening your own craft as well. It's not like there's no art into the shit that you do.
Yeah. It took me a while to realize that, because before this, maybe I thought like, maybe listeners are listening because of the music curation. But then after a while, actually, I realized that people are listening because of the interviews as well. So really? I'm like, I'm actually doing interviews because my boss forced me to do interviews, Like, because BFM is a talk radio station, so we try not to just play music, so we gotta have interviews. So that's the BFM element. But after a while, I realized that most people actually like tune in for the interviews, which made me realize I can actually like talk to poppier kind of acts. That will also be in every other Malaysian radio station, but I can...
Different perspective.
Yeah, I can ask questions that is way different from other radio stations. So that's when I started to, let's get more of the mainstream pop acts as well.
I mean, that's the thing that me and our last guest, Jimmy and Dira, like, I made the comparison that like they are podcasts with Fashion Week. I told them straight out, that's not gonna be like the type of podcast that you're gonna be here.
Yeah, but at the same time, they are doing that to market their product to their target audience. So I understand as well.
There are different ways to handle. I mean, you do the things that you are going to do, and that's you can differentiate yourself with the craft that you do, with a different perspective, obviously.
And normally I realize that there are two styles in terms of podcasters, and even for radio. One style is you talk normally, like how we're talking. The other style is you shout into the mic.
Yeah. No, because they're like entertainers, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, then you like start laughing.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
It's like
Welcome
4:20
back to
p.m.
Sci-Fi Studio Presents.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I don't have that much
I
energy.
can't do that as well. But
I do not have that much energy, and like I don't care about I do care about the viewers, but like not to like that kind of extent to entertain, you know.
But it's not their fault as well, because I think when they do sound checks with their program director, the program director is the one that asking them to speak like that. So yeah, so it's just a matter of taste.
And what your brand is having, you know. Outside of the radio station, what do you do? What do you listen to?
Oh, music.
Yeah, music. What?
Ooh,
You know, Eastern Margins.
that sounds very familiar.
They basically find. I mean, they have Spotify playlists, and
Is it a label?
I don't know what the fuck they are, but basically they just look for Asian underground music, but not on radio lah. They do just Spotify playlists and YouTube content, I think.
Dude, well, okay, because I do music for a living, right? Like not do music, but like music shows on radio for a living. Well, to be honest with you, I have to listen to music for work. It kind of takes away the joy of music. So like for me, it has always been an ongoing journey of like finding back the joy in music.
Yeah.
Because maybe for my shows, I have to pick up maybe like 50 to 60 new songs for my other shows, like a week. So it's just week in and week out of like listening to a couple of hundred music non-stop. So after a while, like I found myself not listening to music for fun anymore.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I'll literally just put on YouTube, like, you know, those cheesy
Videos.
seaside jazz, or you know those videos where it just loops the same video, but then it plays like some cheesy classical guitar. Yeah, I just play that as a palate cleanser. But yeah, happy. Yeah, I'm still in the process of finding the joy of listening to music. Because last time, like even in the car, I was like I got this album waiting for me, and then I'll be listening to this like a show on Mixcloud or whatever. But these days it's more like, you know what, I'm off duty and I don't listen, which kind of sucks, to be honest. But
okay, I haven't reached that point yet.
So for me, jazz is the main like palate cleanser.
Right.
But thankfully there are like other branches of jazz, not just the traditional ones that I can lie on lah. Like
that you like end up discovering also lah.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I can't just like, you know, keep my mind off work. I will like listen. Yeah, oh shit, yeah, the song. Then let me write that down. Can add that for the show next week. That kind of thing. Yeah. So
I don't know how if you reach that point, you kind of like it just becomes tiresome, no?
Well, yeah, but so at first it was natural for me because I memang pun like listen to a lot of music. So when I first joined BFM, I was like, oh yeah, like what I do for fun is actually work now. Like yeah, but then I didn't think it would feel like total like work. Right. But I mean, I still do listen to a lot of music lah. But I find myself right now like listening to like stuff before I started radio, just to
So being part of BFM like gives you that media pass, like we were talking just now. For festivals and stuff, you're just being around.
I haven't renewed my media card.
Basically, the scene now, you kind of aware of what's going on. What is like the most exciting part in the Malaysian scene right now, like for you? Because honestly, like since COVID, like I don't think that
it's tough
there's
to be
a lot
excited.
of movement. Yeah.
But with that being said, you know, a lot of acts have still been like putting out music, and most of them have all wrote songs in 2020, and now I really believe that they wrote in 2020 and like, you know, keeping it and then saying that 2021 we are going to do a Malaysian tour, but obviously that didn't happen. So I think most of them are like slowly releasing music. I think in general, when a lot of like you get like a lot of new local music out and it makes you excited, I also get excited. Yeah. So it's mainly a lot of hip hop because that's the easy thing to make during a pandemic, because all you need is a DAW, a laptop, you know, some decent microphones and all that. Yeah. But I'm happy to see that more and more bands have actually like been putting out new stuff as well. Yeah. And hopefully there'll be more coming soon.
I mean, like I was just talking. I don't know, because is it really because of the production I don't know just how much time it takes to produce a band.
Yeah, because like hip hop, I think these days, like not to put down like type beats or what, but I think YouTube, the whole YouTube beats, type beats thing have really made it easy for hip hoppers or R&B people to songwrite.
But that's the thing though. I don't think that we should really like split the two between like it's like bands and like hip hop rappers and singers.
Okay, I look at it from a production standpoint. So like maybe for a band, because you have so many members and you can't record drums at home like just mic up like, because you need to go to a good studio with a good drum recording room.
Really?
Yeah.
Even nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can do it at home, but then, like, I mean, I believe Lust did it for their previous album, but you wouldn't sound like, I mean, you want to put out something that will last.
Yeah, no, yeah. Right? I mean, my point initially was just like, because you have electronic producers. There's like a variety of music that can be done without drums, for example.
Yeah, but because we've been listening to so much music without actual drums, that these days when you actually use real drums, it's suddenly such a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's so easy to just like get samples or like just tap in MIDI drums in your computer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's bad. I enjoy those as well. Those sound fatter and more heavy compared to real drums. But right now, those bands that use real instruments are the one that really like sticks out right now.
Yeah, in a good way. I'm guessing that could really like provide a vintage or like this like analog element into things.
I mean, like for a couple of years now, hip hop is already the biggest genre in the world. It has overtaken rock already, and now we are like we were just talking about Olivia. What's her name? Olivia Rodrigo, the TikTok star with the driver license. Yeah, I think her latest song, people have been saying it sounds like Paramore, Misery Business. So rock is coming back, man.
Right. I mean, I don't know, man, because Malaysia has had such a fucking long history with like just bands and the indie scene, and like for me, even when talking about certain bands just now, it's just like they just sound sonically, despite the instruments, the same as they were like a very long time ago.
What was the last band that like excited you
in Malaysia? Yeah. Fuck, I can't even say it though. Like even like last, I really, based on the rollout and the aesthetics and stuff,
Penta Black though,
I
so
really,
good though.
But I really, for me when I was listening, I just wish there were a bit more electronic elements into it.
Really?
Because of the presentation. The way that they presented it made it so...
Okay, for me, I think they do it that way so that they can translate it to a live experience, because they're thinking like, okay, if we do too much things, then what if we can't perform those things live? That's how I'm thinking.
I'm sure there's possibility.
Can lah, with samples all, but then you don't want to just press play.
Fucking Launchpad. There's so many.
Can lah.
Ways where we can improve our.
I guess they're just
performance.
Sticking to their roots a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw the presentation. I was like, wow, this is exciting because Najmi Arifin, the designer, and then they asked Alicia to do a visuals, which Alicia's style has always been kind of like on the forward style. And then I was just like, okay, maybe this could be like a really interesting new direction for Lust, where I was just like, okay, I don't know. Fuck, what is that band? Menik Mati. Do you remember Menik Mati? Okay, this was way back when. That they just have a lot of like these electronic elements into it. But when you want to perform with the guitar, it's like you can still do so. There's still the interpretation of things. So I was really excited. Is this the shift in Malaysia where bands start to really up their
craft?
Yeah, up their craft. Like where they just like, okay, we have the drum, guitar, bass guitar, whatever. How can we move forward into a new world that we've never really...
Which is always not easy, because Malaysia is already a few years late in terms of genre. So if you want to... Well, it's a thing of coming out with the right music at the right time as well, right? If you come out with music that's too forward thinking, maybe it's ngam for America, but for Malaysia, we're still like 2 years behind.
For sure,
so
but like, I don't know, man.
It's all about that balance, right?
You think Lust can't have that reach outside of Malaysia? They
definitely can.
They sing in English, right? They have that like ability to cross borders. So I don't know. I was heavily hoping for certain else than the content that I heard. And for me, like if I were to say something about bands in Malaysia in general, just take a risk. Like you have equipment, you can improvise and you can really see how the equipment can up your level, a little bit.
But speaking of bands and equipment, right, the thing I realized after speaking to most bands, the most important part of like finalizing your song is actually the mixing and mastering.
Yeah.
And that part is where
that's the hardest part for
that's
bands
the hardest
also,
part.
right?
That's
Yeah.
where they fall short because mixing and mastering can really up your game, like from a bedroom sound to like, whoa,
That's
what?
why we
I
need
didn't know
more-
you made it in a bedroom.
We need
kind of vibe.
engineers.
Yes.
It's not a popular thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have, I guess, that does commercials and like really like
You see those kind of commercial kind of engineers, their
It's different.
Their ears are tuned differently to a
Right.
more commercial sound. So it's like for music, you need a specific producer that would like be willing to boost up like the snare or the kick of the drums because you want it to be banging. But maybe a traditional commercial producer wouldn't do that because it's against the rule book, or
Yeah.
what.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, we definitely do need, because I don't like mixing. So that's just something that
Mixing is tough, man.
it's a technical thing. Like
And it's something where you don't actually get better the longer you do it. In fact, it's counterproductive the longer you do it because the longer you listen to that same track for like 2 hours, you can go crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. But you're right. Like I think bands that where they are like falling short a little bit and having a lot of problem for just assembling the song because you have so many elements is the mixing part. But hire a producer. Like there's so many producers that know how to do these things nowadays.
Yeah.
And that have experience with the bands and that have experience with like hip hop production or for example, just I don't know, man.
Maybe just the awareness.
Yeah, I'll talk. I don't know. He's probably gonna watch this, right, Asfa? I'll probably talk to you soon. Like, but I just wish that the band scene can integrate a lot of other things than what it has been.
Get Irfan on the show also.
Irfan, nice guy. Yeah. I mean, he's those guys. One of those.
A lot of guests that have been coming to my show have all like give him shout outs. Like, oh, nice guy, asylum treatment. Yeah.
Because he is he's just behind the scenes.
He's behind the scenes, but he has a very signature style of his mixing. I feel that is because I feel his skills were also like developed by DJing in clubs.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
he's aware of the whole dynamics of like making things pop, and making things. Because I mean, not to get a bit nerdy, but then when I put a song inside to see the waveform, I can actually see the shape of the waveform and how like everything is maximalized and yet there's still headroom, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's very minute detail, but then it's very important.
Yeah. No, he's good. Like you're right. Like he has that like DJing experience, playing in clubs.
Yeah.
So he knows what bangs like and how it's supposed to sound like.
Having the ear for it is definitely more important than the equipment. Definitely.
And I've been hearing that he's been getting like corporate gigs also, or just like more like by labels also to mix and master.
And he shuffles pretty well.
So that's the thing. When you hear the Elif's what the fuck is that song? The one the dancing the video.
Ease My Mind. The Craig David one.
Yeah, Ease My Mind.
Yeah.
That sounds like a proper club hit, and yeah, even nowadays with all the producers and hip hop rappers and stuff like that, it doesn't reach that level.
The thing that will piss like musicians off the most is like, oh, it sounds Malaysian, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, got a Malaysian sound. But I mean, I don't know whether it's probably in a negative light, right? It's like, what they are saying is that the mixing a bit kurang, so
Really?
it sounds like...
I've never heard that before.
Okay.
Really?
They would say like, oh, yeah lah, it's like, but can tell it's Malaysian. That kind of saying?
Yeah. Not as like 100%.
But what they're actually saying is that the mixing and mastering doesn't sound international.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to reach radio levels, like you have mega stars that blew up out of mediocre fucking SoundCloud mixing, like XXX Tentacion.
Yeah. These
a
days
big example.
Yeah, these days, I mean, with YouTube, I don't think anybody has excuse to.
No, no one cares as long as your art like reaches out to people. You yourself can do that job, But definitely, if you want to reach certain audiences, like the radio or the club, mixing and mastering is very much important. It all depends on what your target is and what you want to reach with the song.
For radio, if your song is like super high quality, the chances of rejecting it gets lower, basically. I mean, if it's well produced and the producers can hear that you put in a lot of effort and like finances into it. I mean, I feel like radios would actually like appreciate it.
Okay.
So they can tell lah. I mean, like we listen to how many songs every day. So like those that had a mastering treatment and those without, we can tell lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even tell nowadays, like based on.
Even with your headphones?
Yeah. I can't really tell. Like based on because I don't really listen to a lot of like super mainstream.
But normally it's just a very small, minute detail
Yeah.
that like if you don't really like listen properly, then you might miss out on it.
If you feel it or not, like that kind of.
Actually, yeah, man. But it's like, they will say things like that doesn't mix. There's a lot of jargons, man.
Yeah.
Like punchy, the small body, the small headroom.
Betul, all those things. No, but I'm pretty sure it makes. I've been watching a lot of these videos also. Like recently, I watched a video of the person who mastered Kendrick Lamar's.
Oh, mixed with the masters, is it?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, so good.
And then he was just like. And then like after 5 minutes, and there's the before and there's the after, and there's like such a.
But
massive
when he
difference.
does it individually, it doesn't sound good, right?
No.
Take off some of the high.
I have no idea what he was
punch in
doing.
some of that.
I don't know.
Some of the mids.
But
And
then when he
suddenly-
does the comparison,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh wow, this is what mastering is. Like
And
why it's so important.
It's just such a small, like it's just very small details, right?
Yeah.
Like just a little bit here, like maybe roll off some of the highs,
Yeah.
add some of the lows, but then it makes a lot of difference.
So a popular theme in the show, I always like bring up like the behind the scenes people in art, because when people think about the creative arts industry, even the government says it's like non-essential and stuff like that. There are a lot of behind the scenes people who are not the artists, like the engineers or the managers and stuff like that. Even we are not artists in the sense
You are.
but like not like professionally, for, like in the sense that we don't really rely on it on the making the art, but we do a service outside of it that accommodates and facilitates it. So I just, when people start to talk about, when artists, like what I noticed, and I think it's come to a point where it like really irks me, is because it's all very selfish, self-centric when artists talk about their art, and it's understandable because that's what they do. But they don't they're not the number one or the frontliners for the creative arts. There are so many other people that like accommodate, and people need to understand the importance of these roles to really flesh things out to the best that they can be. So we've given 10 minutes when we're geeking out about how engineers are doing a fucking great job, and it's because there is a need for our saturated content. There's so many musics that people send me that's just like, I know you made this in like 2 hours, like I know you have no prior, it's fine, but like once you want to reach a certain point, maybe to your show, or you want me to actually give you like a proper opinion, or on my show, for example, like at least give some thought to like the people who aren't the creators. Maybe get a manager, because these are the people that are really going to
up your craft
and the ecosystem. Like have a healthy ecosystem.
Basically, I think it's very tempting to do everything yourself. But even in terms of like distribution or like even the artwork, graphic design, I think there are a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of opportunities to collaborate with other local talents as well.
Because I don't know what a good analogy would be but like if you want to make apples at the grocery store, it's not just the farmer. There are other people that like is part of the ecosystem that makes the apple reach the supermarket, like the drivers and the transport supplier, and what all these kind of roles. So for us to really step outside of this plateau of just SoundCloud,
or Bandcamp
creations that don't really add so much into the scene and the industry, maybe get other people involved, and I don't know, you don't have to pay them that much. I'm sure a lot of people.
Well, but the thing with Malaysians is that sometimes all you have to do is ask.
A lot of people want to work, like Alicia. She was like, her workload is fucking crazy, and as an artist, I think she's really developed her own style. But then she recently posted on Instagram that she's willing to do once a month album cover or an artwork for 50 ringgit.
So low?
Yeah, because she genuinely wants to be able to help out artists who really want to take their shit seriously but can't afford it. And like, yes, I understand finances might be an obstacle, but like just reach out to the people who are like talented and stuff and willing to do it, because he listens to your shit. I 100% know that he listens to it before he rejects you. Even for me, like you send it to me, I listen to it, but that doesn't mean I'll receive it well. So once you have like a team and stuff, it ups your scale for the artist, but also the industry, man. Because I would love it for when I go through listening to shit, like it doesn't hurt my ears, for example.
And we want to see like just quality, like just, a rise in quality in general, right?
Dude, I don't know, man. Like, what would be the main gripe about quality for you?
Well, actually, I have nothing really. I mean, I think it's already improving a lot. Like when I started, which is like maybe like six years ago when I started doing it was legit like super tough to do. I remember because I took over the show from Ali Joe.
Right.
So he used to do the show, so I took it over from him. And then when I did the show, I was like, oh man, like at that point, all local music, only like local act I listened to was Too Fat.
Right.
Maybe a bit of Hujan.
Yeah. So when you started listening to like the underground, like really independent.
So actually, I went to underground because those were the only ones that I thought sounded good enough for me to play on radio for my own music show. Because like there were other local stuff that I just like couldn't vibe with lah. But then the more I did the show, more I realized like man, the quality really dah naik lah.
Yeah.
Like in terms with stuff like God was good. Like even the stuff they're putting out, I think can definitely go overseas. And even not so underground ones, maybe like Alien Lipstick Fire, or even like this all-female band that do pop music, Crinkle Cut, like those kind of thing. Like the quality is like really like when you listen to it, you can't tell whether it's Malaysian or Singaporean, which I think is a good thing.
But can you really notice the production quality? I mean, like the
definitely,
music, really,
definitely can.
Because I know that God Was Good the producer Was Good does not have production, like proper production.
So for
skills,
his one,
you know?
right, the maybe it's not as hi-fi in terms, but the production
is good enough.
It's good enough to make up for it. I feel.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, like, you know, like if people really just put in a little bit more thought into it.
But that's not saying that like they don't put enough thought as well. But it's just sometimes it's just the taste or just the direction.
I was reading, this is a while ago, I think whenever I first started, I was reading a tweet from Jennifer Thompson, and she was like, even lo-fi music is mixed to be lo-fi. You know? What she was hinting at is that just because you don't mix it does not make it lo-fi, you know? It's
sometimes an excuse like to say lo-fi, but...
No, because like, you give the treatment, give the art the treatment that it should have to reach the aesthetics or sounds that you want it to.
Even though it costs a bit more money, like, but
dude, but if you pay the engineer pays the buys the song or whatever, you know,
right?
It's an ecosystem. Like for me, when you put in value to your shit, then people will put in value for yours. You know, it will circulate one way or another. We're spending time and money on like microphones.
Right.
I don't mind it, you know, like spending on just production quality and also for art in general. What festival are you looking forward to?
Ooh. I mean, honestly, right, I don't know whether it's age or what, but I really like festivals where I can sit down.
Right.
So
dude, you can sit down in every festival.
Yeah,
you can sit down. No one gives you shit.
Can you? I mean,
yes.
like if I okay,
you can sit down in every festival.
If I really enjoy the band, I don't want like or if like my friends playing in the band, I don't want my friend to see me like sitting down on the grass. Like I want to be standing up, like actually supporting. But I'm getting old and I'm like quite tired. So like recently it's jazz festivals, man.
Yeah.
But not even. I mean, okay, Singapore got some great ones, but I actually enjoy going to the Penang Georgetown, the Penang Jazz Fest, which sadly was on a hiatus for a while, and then they said apparently they want to come back, but right now they're on a hiatus again, obviously. But that was a pretty good one. Like lots of great local jazz acts around Malaysia, around the neighboring region, and it's just by the beach, and mostly old people. Like you know, because like festivals sometimes become more like a photo shoot session. Where, like,
I talked about this also, like
waiting for the OOTD photographer to spot me, that kind of thing.
I was talking about art installations also has become that. Like people go to galleries and stuff just to take pictures for their Instagram,
right?
And it devalues a lot of things.
Yeah, but at the same time,
it's a natural thing. I understand, but
But I mean, maybe it's the same for festivals as well. I mean, like music. Even though it's a music festival, but sadly some people think of it just like a festival, and music is just one small element.
Because we don't have that much opportunities in Malaysia. We don't have that much festivals. This might seem like one of those like really kind of shows. It's like asking questions and stuff, but like I would want to know what would be your ideal festival lineup?
Oh, lineup.
Yeah.
Oh, are we talking about all local or
Local.
local? Huh?
For me, I don't anything international. I'm malalayan already.
Okay. Let's have Guard was good over there.
Headliner. 4 headliners.
Oh, headliner.
I mean, sure lah, but like 4 headliners, let's say.
Headline. Oh, susah ni. Maybe headliner. You know how Malaysians love their reunion bands, right? So I'm trying to think like what band has already.
You gotta have it.
What band has already broken up?
For me, and if I do festivals, I would never
Really,
give in to like what audience wants.
Oh, okay. Okay, Gut was good. Okay, maybe I just name out a few first, but then we don't talk about headliners or lah. Maybe Gut was good. Pistol Light. Maybe last.
Pistol Light headliner.
Pistol Light. I feel like their Pop Bilik Tidur was a sleeper hit, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Apa lagi ya? Maybe. Are we talking about like some Coachella level, like where the prints are so small?
Good vibes level lah.
Okay lah. Then Elif's Lunadira, Ready Rocket sikit.
Okay, so we'll give a slot for 01-08. We
yes.
give a slot for
the cruise a bit.
This Way Up.
This Way Up, satu slot. Maybe RTB stage. Maybe RTB stage. Hey, actually, you know what? Maybe if I was doing a festival, maybe I would change up a bit. Like the multiple stages are based on the labels or distributors in Malaysia. I think that would be cool. Like maybe one stage you just tong Asia punya artists, which is quite a lot also lah. And then like maybe Breaking Music, they got their.
Would it be enough for a festival though? No lah.
No, actually, like Universal, maybe Warner, they can have the smallest stage, and then maybe independent, unsigned on as a totally different stage. I think that would be quite cool also. Yeah, maybe from an organizer standpoint, it'd be easier if, like, let's say the label curate their own.
Yeah.
Also. Dude, I mean, like festivals not easy at all, man. Like
I would love that job,
really?
man.
I would never want to work in a festival.
I don't know the logistics part. I just love the creation part. That's about it. Because I've been so pissed off. It's always been like local first and the smallest stage.
Yeah, but then again, it's all. I mean,
it's money.
It's money and it works lah, basically. But also, with festivals, I think it's a push for local acts to
step up.
Not step up. I mean, like to release new stuff, and then they were to hype up their festival performance. Then they will all release a new single like leading up to that festival.
I don't know, man. It's because like we kind of like think of it as such a
big event.
Yeah, but like I feel like the organizers itself don't treat it as such a monumental position in the scene, apart from an event that you can make money from, but like it also serves, like you said, artists make music leading up to it, and people, all the artists conglomerate into one space and they all listen to the same thing because we don't have that much. I feel like organizers really need to pay attention over the impact that they can do with such a scale.
But then again, organizers get acts that can attract people and they want the numbers so that they can get sponsors, which is like the U Mobiles.
But think about it. Once you reach a certain point, you don't have to do anymore. Like if you are Good Vibes, everyone goes to Good Vibes regardless of the acts, right?
Are they earning money though?
I think they did the last time, right?
Oh.
I think the last time maybe it was the only time.
Because I know of lots of festivals that actually don't earn money at all. So like all these
just
festivals,
sponsors also, right?
Yeah, I mean even with sponsors, it always seems like a money
loss.
Yeah, like losing money kind of venture.
Yeah, even
it's not easy.
Urbanscapes is no longer around, right?
Yeah.
So don't know.
Well, counting on you. hint.
Yeah, definitely want to do lah. Come on, man.
Is that why you asked me the lineup question?
No lah, but I just wanted to know.
What was your ideal lineup? Like,
I want God was good. Like I don't like their recent project as much.
Like OST compared to the
compared to
Leberaya Selatan.
No, compared to CPR.
Oh, okay.
CPR I think was like
really. I think
you like.
Oh, I love Leberaya Selatan though.
Wait, which one is the Jukes one? Leberaya Selatan is I don't like that.
Oh, that was so good, man.
Okay, so what I saw is that CPR is like the blueprint.
Okay.
Leberaya Selatan is the experimental shit. And
okay, I see it differently.
What's the other one? Is the third one? I forgot.
OST.
OST is like definitely they're trying to like attract the Malay market. styles. That's what I noticed.
For me, I felt Liberia Selatan was when they got a bit more comfortable already. For me, like CPR is like they're maybe like this is what the sound that they want, but they are conforming skit. And then like Liberia Selatan is when they are a bit more confident to like, okay, you know what? I want a burial kind of electronic beat. Don't care, whack on
I don't. That's the thing. Yeah, experimental.
Which is what I love.
Experimental.
So like when I listen to OST, the first time I was like, Allah, don't have much of that whole
the
like
OST
garage.
was very clean.
OST was a bit too clean. So I listened to it the first time. Allah, I prefer Liberia Selatan. But I don't know. Maybe it's the whole Jukes exclusive thing because like, I had to get Jukes just to listen to it. I was like, man.
No way.
So
dude, just ask them lah.
I mean, I did lah. But after that, I got all the files off. But then after OST is on Spotify, so I don't know whether it's that whole like it was a bit rare skit so that you enjoy it more. But I listen to OST a bit more. I feel like they're already comfortable and they're just like whacking out because they recorded both at the same time, right? At Locke's house.
I understand. I know that they did it specifically for Jukes. God was good definitely though because I think they're really pushing boundaries. I wish 0108 would reach the same levels, but
and it's the speed. Also, the speed of how fast they're churning out.
Yeah, like, I mean, they know how to keep people's attention.
Yeah, and I think the last time I spoke to them, he also, a guard mentioned that it was important for him to not be too perfect, because you need to have some imperfections in your music. It's like,
that's the thing that pulls people though.
Yeah.
Like differentiates them as like these underground artists.
Like, dude, like even for like podcasting, right? Like when I first... How long has this podcast gone for already?
111.
Okay lah. So like in the past, I used to, because we do everything pre-recorded, right? So we can edit everything. So I used to edit until it was so clean, until it felt too clean. If that even made sense, because like
there's no breaks, no nothing.
Yeah, like I took out all the breaths that sounded like a bit too wet, or like all the mistakes, all the lahs, the ums, ahs. I took everything out. It sounds so robotic. Until a point where it sounds almost like super cold, and then I realized like I had to insert like mistakes, like insert a and like instead of saying up next we have and then you go like okay up next it feels more human. So I guess Guard was good. They are trying to do that as well.
They got it. I think they also realized with the OST also like I think it was very very clean. I don't know, we'll see, but definitely them as a headliner. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
Well, but then like headliners, I'm just thinking like as an organizer, they always want like maybe one hip hop act without a backing band and one with a backing band, because like with backing band, like you get the better dynamics for like the end of the event.
What? Who does that here? I don't think we have that.
Thank you, Malaysia.
Yoni Boy, or who has the funds and resources to have it like that. Hey, but even Gucci Meth, he did a YouTube show, a YouTube content with a band, backing band.
Yo, dude, every time rappers like play with a live band,
you like it?
I love it, man.
You know those like where they do with the opera?
Okay, that one.
Not the opera, the
string quartet, all
whatever at the back.
I think if rappers get jazz musicians, they can actually do it. Because for jazz musicians like playing like normal music that's not jazz for them, I don't know whether they'll be yawning or what. But even though for them it's boring, but they're such tight musicians because jazz is such a difficult genre to play.
Yeah.
That like, do you see the one that Joe Flizzo did with Grab at Chow Tim?
No, man.
Basically his backing band was all like jazz cats, like all the legit jazz cats in the touring circuit in Malaysia. And they were so tight, man. But
I don't know.
Was sweating all like
obviously you'd have to like up the money also lah, once and be able to really understand your music.
You get what you pay for.
So I'm actually kind of scared that the
camera stopped recording.
No, it's still recording, but it will run out of battery. But I guess we can also cap it here. So like 1 hour 30 minutes already.
Yeah. Now it's the best time to talk shit, right? Because like,
dude, after
according to analytics, like half of you are already tuned out, right?
Dude, after 30 minutes, they are already confirmed.
So now we are in the zone where only the true fans.
Yeah, that's why the leak, when we're leaking all the whatever shit just now, it's not gonna actually
about festivals and all that.
But yeah, thank you very much for providing your insight.
No worries, man.
Was fun doing your show. I hope you have fun with this like long form.
Man, it's fun doing your show, man. Yeah. For me, my show, the interview is the start of like, then it's just like work has just begun after the interview end, you know. But then,
after this, I'm done. Like, just put it all together. I mean, obviously we'll do some editing and stuff, but that's about it.
No, I didn't know you actually trigger the music from here.
Yeah,
Watching your videos, I thought like someone behind the camera actually triggers the music, but it's all here.
Oh yeah, because that's why I wanted the PA, because I wanted to like have a lot more control. But I really want like it to be able to do my stuff. Anyway, thanks again, Othniel.
Thanks for having me, man.
This is Safe House You Presents. Mulut Murai will be back next week. If you want to watch his show, Wavelength, it's on
Mondays 10 p.m. Repeats on Saturday at 6 p.m.
Right. Just listen to what he creates, and he does interviews as well. Thank you very much.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.